Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between QXC and Huck here on Metalopolis. This shoutcast and commentary is sponsored by lucomputers.com. Go ahead and check out their website for StarCraft 2 tested computers. There's a link in the top right hand side for StarCraft 2 tested computers. Now QXC and Huck, this is going to be a ladder match, so both these players now saying hi to each other, just talking to each other. I did meet QXC at the day 9 launch party. He was walking around with a sign that said, "Hi, my name is QXC. You may have heard of me. You've probably heard of me." So I walked up to him and I said, "Hi, I'm Crota. You've probably heard of me." And he looked at me and goes like, "No, I haven't heard of you." So, you know, a little bit of a humbling thing there, but you know, a good joke. And QXC is a pretty nice guy, so you know, shout out to QXC there. Here we have Huck spawning over here at the 6 o'clock position as the blue Protoss player. Meanwhile, QXB spawning over here as the red Terran player at the 8 o'clock position. Should be a pretty interesting matchup between the two. We already see Huck spamming up that 348 actions per minute. What could he possibly be doing with 348 actions per minute? I can't quite tell. Maybe just mass clicking that that Nexus right there, perhaps trying to get some more chrono boost out of there. Gonna go ahead and head back to everyone over here as both players are now scouting out. So Peppy the Probe and Stevie the SCV gonna pass by each other and go ahead and check out the same spawning location at the same time. There's the Probe, there's the SCV, gonna go ahead and see each other. QXC may think there is a base there, but no, denied by Peppy. Back over here, we see already a barracks being placed down, most likely a 12 racks followed by a 13 refinery, transferring 3 SCVs over. And it will be important to see if QXC goes for a reactor or a tech lab. And more important, the reactor is there to try to handle any sort of void ray play, and void rays are a large possibility here on this map just because of the close aerial spawn between these two distances. In comes this probe able to just wander around, now gonna head out as we now see QXC coming out, and we'll realize that it is going to be a close air spawn here on Metalopolis. A kind of a still walking spawn. This Xel'Naga Watchtower may come into power as well, as siege tanks get a lot of sight there. And now we see a backdoor pylon sitting over here, trying to make sure that there's no Reapers going to be jumping up from that side. We already have the Cybernetics core coming into play, getting as much gas, and another pylon being placed down by Huck. I like this placement of these pylons, just because it gives sight throughout the base, and it's really important to keep track of any air positioning from, or air units coming in from this other side. We now have a Marauders being placed though, so Marauders now getting that concussive shell. Marauders very, very strong against the Protoss player, destroying a lot of the gateway units in a 1v1 matchup or in an equal food matchup if they are not microed, but I generally don't like to see those mass battles anyways, because micro and positioning really make a big difference. But in a one-on-one fight, a Marauder should be able to beat a Stalker, a Zealot, and a Sentry. Probably not a Dark Templar unless there's obviously an Observer, but yeah, coming in there and nice concussive shell, slowing down that probe. So that scouting probe already taken down. One Stalker coming in to try to stop the SCV of QXC. QXC losing that SCV, that scouting SCV, as a Stalker moves away. Stalker has a decent movement speed, a little bit faster than the Marauder and the Marine. QXC gonna run up that ramp, activate that Xel'Naga Watchtower. No Stalker there, so no free kill. Back over here, we now have another command center coming in, and we also have a Reaper trained. So this late Reaper is more of a scouting Reaper than any sort of economic harass. That scouting Reaper, oh, sitting right there, and now because Huck is going to be able to stop this, and now in comes the Reaper. Reaper already getting 2 hits, make it a 3rd hit, and we see the Robo Bay. But that was the important thing for QXC to spot. Seeing this Robo Bay means that it is not going to be Void Rays, it is going to be Immortal. So we'll see if we have a Ghost Academy being placed down anytime soon to try to use an EMP Shockwave to clear those Immortals. It does not look like there is any factory in production, so can't go to air for Banshees. So Ghosts are really going to be important. Need to get Stim as well in order to be able to combat those Immortals. Immortals dealing an amazing 50 damage a shot against Marauders, and Marauders only dealing 20, but the Immortal only has a range of 5 compared to the Marauders' range of 6. So the Marauder should be able to kite if it is really well played. Let me double check my range. Yes, range of 5. And the Immortal also fires a little bit more quickly, 0.05 seconds faster, or units at time faster. Now we have double bunkers now being laid down. So double bunkers being laid down. So those Marauders will be able to get off a lot of shots against those Immortals before those Immortals get within that firing range, just because Immortals are going to be slowed down by that concussive shell. In comes in one observer, and Huck going in for a 4 racks build, but not getting tech labs. Also, I do not see a factory just quite yet, and there is a large amount of gas being saved up by QXC. So QXC should be throwing down some tech labs at some point, and he's not producing any Marines out of these additional barracks as well. So kind of curious as what exactly his strategy is going to be. He's only running off of one Vespene Geyser, and now we have Immortals, Sentries, and Zealots moving out army-wise. Huck in a very, very strong position as more units coming in. Are they going to try to do some sort of run by? And let's see, there is sight of one of those bunkers. This bunker perhaps should have been placed here to try to deny any of those units from coming in, and now another bunker there. Now going to be blocking off this position. Huck not going to be able to move in to take this expansion very easily, so Huck now pulling back and going to play the macro game. Very, very smart call by Huck there. Didn't want to lose a lot of units, as we see QXC in a stronger economic advantage with those additional mules sitting at 26 harvesters. Army-wise, both sides even as well. And Huck does have a stronger probe count though, and now we have some gateways coming in, and now we also have a Twilight Council. Do we have the Templar archives? No, we have a Dark Shrine. So the Dark Shrine now being built. So with the Dark Shrine, we will be getting some Dark Templars, and we may even see the Robotics Bay try to create a warp prism and warp in some units into this backdoor position here behind these vents. And there is no additional tech. Now more tech labs coming in, and now also one reactor. So we're really going to start training up a larger army as a factory now coming into play. So with a factory with that factory and now a missile turret coming in, so that Dark Templar may not be able to deal the significant damage that it needs to. Where is that Dark Shrine? Dark Shrine sitting over here. Double checking the view. Was he able to see? Yeah, able to see this building being hidden in the back of the base, so knows about those Dark Templars. So should be laying down some extra turrets in a little bit. Also getting the engineering bay level 1's upgrade. So level 1 upgrades, all of this off of a 4 racks. And now training up more Marines, more Marauders, and now getting up to 73 over 78 food. Huck, on the other hand, sitting with a very, very large army, but this army hasn't really been able to do anything. A very, very mobile army. Stalkers sitting at this Zelnaga watchtower, as well as QXC now ramping up and sitting on a lot of gas. All these bunkers have been salvaged, so QXC deciding to salvage those bunkers, started trading up more barracks. So QXC going into a 6 racks build. That is a very, very heavy build. One Stalker coming. The Stalkers and Marauders. Oh, these Stalkers are just going to get torn apart there. One Marine shot down, and one Scouting Marine coming into play as well. That Marine going to try to head around that corner, head up that ramp, and then get taken down. We have one Dark Templar in play, and from Huck. And now it's just 10 Marines, and very nice force field. Going to trap off some of these units over here. Marines and Marauders trying to get in some extra kills, but has to be careful more about these force fields, as we have some Dark Backdoor and Dark Templars as well. So those Dark Templars now moving in, and very nicely done. QXC losing a lot of his army in this fight, but trying to maximize using hit and run tactics to destroy as much as he can. Marauders now very, very low on hit points. And perhaps they're going to get some shots off. No, not be able to get enough shots off to take down any other unit. Perhaps should have tried to take down that probe there, as that probe would have only needed 2 shots from each of those Marauders, which I think that Zealot did absorb. Army-wise, both sides still even. Harvester count, QXC having the advantage with the mules, and also 2 extra harvesters over Huck. So, and once again, nicely done. Dark Templars moving around the map, gonna keep track, try to figure out what exactly the strategy is. There is one missile turret being placed down here, and now getting a reactor on this factory. We may see some Hellion play, or is this for double training medevacs? I think this should be for double training medevacs, just because there's such a large base. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a swap there. Start double training medevacs, also running off of 4 gas right now, so we should be seeing 1 medevac, and then as soon as it gets up to another 100 gas, a second medevac should be brought in. More Marines being trained up, Marauders, all of this running off of a 6 racks build, and now the level 1's weapons upgrades for the infantry have been completed. Over here, Observer now still is scouting around, trying to get some decent sight, as Dark Templar is making sure that there is no additional expansion being placed down. So yes, just on patrol. Huck using those Dark Templars on patrol there, and now only 1 medevac. And also a Raven being trained up, and now this 1 medevac with 2 Marauders and 4 Marines moving out. But this this observer scouting this position will be able to intercept. And now already Stalkers receiving this one medevac, trying to drop those units in time, taking down the medevac, and now very sad day for this Marine Marauder drop there. So Huck losing 2 Stalkers, while QXC losing 1 full medevac, with 2 Marauders and 4 Marines. Out comes an army over here, so we're going to have an engagement here. 1 medevac in the air. We also have a Raven, but the Raven does not have enough for a point defense drone just quite yet. And now we have 2 High Templars. Those High Templars, getting the feedback onto that medevac, and very nicely done. Oh my goodness, this is just going to be devastating for QXC. QXC getting destroyed there, and another feedback onto the Raven, now merging into an Archon. So even without Psystorm, those two Templars just did their damage, and now Huck, with a little bit with the smaller army in this engagement, I still have to say he came out as the winner in this fight there. That Raven, very low on hit points, down with a movement speed of 2.25. The Protoss Archon could have caught up to that Raven and taken it down. The Raven is a very expensive unit, not quite sure why he didn't try to intercept it, but now once again coming in with another medevac drop. Stalkers coming in, dropping from the sky, medevacs making sure to pull away. And now these Marauders and these Marines trying to get out a couple of quick hits. Zealots with Zealot charge, but that charge is on a cooldown now as Stalkers are sniping down those medevacs. Medevac now taken down. Marauders and Marines finishing off this fight here. So really well done so far. Marines and Marauders continuing to deal and continuing to move around this map, and now going after some of those probes. So probes now getting taken down as well. And now Huck losing 2 or 3 probes here, but Harvester wise, Huck has the advantage at 67, 67 Harvesters, as he's running off of 3 bases now. And with that chrono boost, we'll be able to continue to just pump out a lot of those probes. So probes, now we also have a command center being lifted off, not yet upgraded to an orbital command. Most players like to upgrade to an orbital command before getting there, getting a little bit of that extra energy. Here we have that Dark Templar still running back and forth, and now an auto turret being placed down by a Raven to try to shoo away an observer. The observer now moving away and doing a different patrol pattern. So gonna move back and forth there. And now we have we have 1 Dark Templar going at those SCVs. That Dark Templar does not have any weapons upgrades, but there are no armor upgrades on these SCVs either, so 1 swipe each, and that Dark Templar already getting up to 8 kills, now 9, 10, will it get to a dozen? It will in fact get to a dozen. No, going after those Marauders and those Marines instead. No scanner sweep, no Raven close by, and there we go, there's that scanner sweep. Orbital command now being upgraded, missile turret now laid down, but that 1 Dark Templar did a great job of just holding this at bay. Back over here, we now have some medevacs more in the air. And do we have any additional upgrades? Yeah, we have the level 2 upgrades, should be researched in just a moment, but we already have Huck taking up a 3rd base. I'm a little curious as to, very nice, a nice Stalker blinking in. More Marauders and Marines getting taken down there. I believe there was Marines in that medevac before it was shot down. I'm a little surprised that there is not, there is no more Robobay. The Robobay was taken down. So the robotics facility was taken down. And now, do we have another one being produced anywhere? We have Forge now getting the weapons upgrade and the shields upgrade, as we have another medevac coming in over here. But there is already a very large army ready to intercept this. And what's going to be happening here? Huck coming in, out come the Marauders, Stalkers blinking in, and things just not looking good at all. I'm accidentally hitting that Windows key. And more units, and now we have trying to pull back those units. Another medevac getting shot down, and QXC with really fast movement on those Stalkers and using that blink has just such dominating map control. More mules now being called down into play. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between QXC and Huck here on Metalopolis.